We continue now at the top of Daf Tzadi Zayin Amud Aleph Meseches Shabbos. This is Shabbos Daf 97a. Rabbi Akiva just learned from a Gzeira Shava that the Mekoshesh in the Torah who was Chayev Misa for violating Shabbos was Tzlafchad. And Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira says that you shouldn't reveal this, because if the Torah kept it hidden for a reason. And if you're incorrect about the limud that you're making, then you're saying slander against Tzlafchad. So now the Gemara says, V'yaloha Gamar Gzeira Shava, but what's the problem with what Rabbi Akiva did? He taught it from a Gzeira Shava. Rashi says, V'imkein lo kisses the Torah didn't cover anything up. T'havalekim mefurash. It's as if it's explicit in the Torah. And the Gemara answers, Gzeira Shava lo Gamar. Rashi explains, Meshani, Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira lo Gamra. Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira didn't learn that Gzeira Shava. Ve'ein adam don Gzeira Shava me'atzma. A person does not learn Gzeira Shava on his own. There's always a tradition for Gzeira Shava, and that is the basis for Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira's opposition to Rabbi Akiva's limud. So then the Gemara says, Elo mehecha have. So according to Rabbi Yehuda, which sin did Tzlafchad die for? Rashi says, Ve'elo Rabbi Yehuda mehecha have be'eze chet meis, techsiv ki bechet o meis. It says about Tzlafchad bechet o meis, there was some sin. So according to Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira, what was the sin? So the Gemara says, Mivia apilu. He was one of the ma'apilim. This was the violation that was made after the sin of the spies. They were told not to try to enter Eretz Yisrael. Tzlafchad was one of the people who tried to enter Eretz Yisrael. Mivia apilu. He was amongst the group of the Ma'apilim. Kayotze bedavar ata omer. Similarly, we find a similar machlokas between Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira. It says, Vayichar Hashem bam. Hashem got angry at talking about Aaron and Miriam when they were speaking Lashon Hara about Moshe Rabbeinu. So explicit in the Torah, Miriam gets tzaras. So it says, Vayichar af Hashem bam vayelach melamed shaf Aaron itztareya. Divrei Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva learns from the af Hashem bam that he got angry at them, that it wasn't only Miriam who got saras, but even Aaron got saras. Amar lo Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira. Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira said, Akiva bein kach uvein kach ata asin liten esadin. He said, Akiva, either way, in the future, there's going to be judgment against you for teaching this. Im kedvarcha Torah kisaso ve'ata megaloso. If you're correct, the Torah covers it up about Aaron and you're revealing it. V'im lav, if you're not correct, you're saying slander against Aaron. So it's the same basic argument that we had by Tzlafchad. So the Gemara says Ve'elo haksiv bam, but doesn't it say them? So it does indicate that they both got saras. Gemara answers, Ahu ben zifa bi'alma. Maybe that was just the anger. God was angry at both Aaron and Miriam, but who says that Aaron actually got the saras as well? Gemara says, Tanya kama damar af Aaron etztareh. We have a brisa which follows the opinion that Aaron did get saras, techsiv, because it says Vayifen Aaron el Miriam. It says that Aaron turned to Miriam, v'nei mitzaras, and behold, she had saras. Tana, and it was taught shepana mit sarato. He turned from his own saras, indicating that this brisa holds that Aaron got saras. Amar Reish Lakish says, Hachoshed b'ksherim loka begufo. Somebody who suspects somebody who's kosher, somebody who's choshed b'ksherim, he gets hit in his own body, he gets wounded in his body. Techsiv, because it says, V'hein lo ya'aminu li v'gomer. It's talking about Moshe Rabbeinu. He says the Klal Yisrael won't believe him when it comes to the fact that they're going to be redeemed from Mitzrayim. V'galia kumei kudsha berichu d'mehemne Yisrael. That was revealed in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that Klal Yisrael is going to believe in the Geula. Amar lo, he said to him, Hein ma'aminim b'nei ma'aminim. They're believers and their children are believers. V'ata ein sof chalahamin. But you, in the end, you will not believe. Hein ma'aminim, they believed. Like it says, Vayamenam. It says the people trusted, they believed. B'nei ma'aminim, they're the children of believers. That says V'hemin b'Hashem. It talks about Avram, and it says he believed. Ata ein sof chalahamin. But you, Moshe, you're not going to believe. Shenamar, like it says, Yan lo hemantam bi v'gomer. It's talking about why Moshe did not get to go into Eretz Yisrael. It says you didn't trust in me, you didn't believe in me, and that was the cause of their punishment, that Moshe Rabbeinu did not get to go into Eretz Yisrael. Mimai delokana. How do we know that Moshe Rabbeinu got hit? He got, so to speak, malchus, not real malchus, but in this case it's going to be tzaras. He got tzaras for saying this, for being choshed b'ksherim. Techsiv, because it says Vayomar Hashem lo od haveino yadcha b'chakecha v'gomer. It says that Hashem said to Moshe Rabbeinu, take your hand out and look at it, and indeed it had tzaras. And that's how you see that Achoshed b'ksherim is loka b'gufo. The Gemara continues at the two dots. Amar Rava v'temer Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Chanina Rava, and some people say Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Chanina says Mida tova memaheres lava mimidas poranus. a good measure is going to come quicker from a punishment. When it comes to punishment, it says that he took out his hand and it had saras. But when it comes to a good thing, what does it say? It says he took out his hand and it went back to its normal flesh, meaning immediately upon taking out his hand, it was healed. So the healing came faster than the punishment, which did not happen with such immediacy. And the Gemara continues, Vayivla mate Aaron es matosam. It says that the staff of Aaron swallowed up the staffs of the staffs of the Egyptians, and that was one of the miracles that was performed in front of the Egyptians. Amar Rabbi Lazar says, Nes besoch nes. This was a miracle within a miracle, meaning it was a double miracle. Rashi here explains. Nes besoch nes la'achar shechazer v'nasem mata. It was after it was a staff belon that it swallowed them. V'lo kashu tanin. It didn't swallow the staffs as a snake. T'lo chsev vayivla tanin Aaron. It doesn't say the tanin of Aaron swallowed. It says mate Aaron, and therefore we learn out that it's a double miracle. Just going back to the Mida Tova, Mida Puranus, Rashi says, first of all, that is getting loka begufo in your body. That's what happened to Moshe Rabbeinu for Choshe B'Ksherim. After he takes out his hand against Saras, but even right before he takes it out, right before he reveals his hand, with immediacy, he was healed. That's how you know that the Midah Tova is quicker than the Midas Puranis. Gemara now continues to analyze the Mishnah at the two dots, May Rishus HaYachid, Rishus HaYachid, V'chulu. It said in the Mishnah, if a person throws from a private domain to another private domain, and there's a Rishus Rabbim in the middle, that was a machlokas between Rabbi Akiva and the Chachamim, whether or not you're chayiv. So now, Boy Rabba asks, Lamata me'asora pligi, are they arguing where you throw the item below 10 tvachim, or we should say within 10 tvachim of the earth? Uvaha pligi, and they're arguing about the following: the Mar Savar Amrinon Kluta Kamashoncha, Umar Savar Lo Amrinon Kluta Kamashoncha. Machlokes is, if something is within 10 tvachim of the ground, is that as if it came to rest, or is that not as if it came to rest? But if it was thrown above 10 tvachim, so then everybody would agree it's pater. There's no question at all. V'lo yalfin on Zorik mi Moshe. We don't learn out Zorik from Moshe, meaning we know for sure that if you pass things through a Rishus HaRabim, from a Rishus HaYachid to another Rishus HaYachid through a Rishus HaRabim, we know that in that case you're chayiv. But the question is, maybe we should learn out throwing from passing. And according to this side of the question, everyone agrees we do not learn Zorik from Moshe. The only question, the only machlokas between Rabbi Akiva and the Rabbanan is if you throw it below 10 tvachim. Or perhaps they're arguing if you throw it above 10 tvachim. And the argument is, do we learn out throwing from passing or not? But if you would throw it below 10 tvachim or within 10 tvachim from the ground, we would for sure apply that, we would for sure say you're chayiv. My time, what's the reason? Because we would apply the principle of kluta kamashoncha, that if it's captured within 10 tvachim of the ground, it is as if it came to rest. Amar Rav Yosef. So Rav Yosef said, Hamilsi boile Rav Chisda. This question was actually asked to Rav Chisda. Pashta nihile Rav Hamnuna, and Rav Hamnuna answered the question. Rav Chisda had this question, and Rav Hamnuna answered it for him. Meha, from the following. It says, Rishus HaYachid ve'over b'Rishus HaRabim atzma, Rabbi Akiva mechayev v'chachamim pochim. The language over here is b'Rishus HaRabim atzma. So we're going to try to derive from that language, as the Gemara says, midakama b'Rishus HaRabim atzma, pshita lamata me'asara pligi. It sounds like they're talking about within 10 tvachim of the ground, because that's b'Rishus HaRabim atzma. Above 10 tvachim, you're really outside the airspace of Rishus HaRabim. The airspace of Rishus HaRabim is within 10 tvachim of the ground. So it seems like we're talking about within 10 tvachim. Uvamai. Now, what's the case in this brisa? Ilema b'mavir. If we're talking about carrying, so that wouldn't make any sense. In other words, you're going to just pass things or carry things through. That would imply that you're only chayiv below 10 tvachim or within 10 tvachim of the ground, and above 10 you're not. That's just not true. Rabbi Lazar says if you carry a burden above 10 tvachim from the ground, that's the way the Bnei Kos carried it, so it doesn't matter that you're carrying it above 10 tvachim from the ground. We said that earlier also. So that cannot be we're talking about carrying the item through. Elolav bezorik, we must be talking about throwing the item. Ulamata me'asar huda mechayev, and we're talking and we're saying that only Rabbi Akiva only says chayev below 10. Lamala me'asar lo mechayev, but above 10 nobody says chayev. Shma amina bekluta kamashon pligi shma amina. You see, they're arguing about kluta kamishon chadamya. So they're arguing whether within 10 tvachim we say it's as if it's already as if it came to rest. And right now the Gemara is suggesting that above 10, if you throw it above 10, everybody agrees that you're pater. So, and now the Gemara says, Upliga de Rabbi Lazar. But this approach, that the argument is below 10, argues on Rabbi Lazar. Dama Rabbi Lazar, because Rabbi Lazar says, Mechaya hoya Rabbi Akiva afilu l'malamiyah, that actually Rabbi Akiva says you're chayiv even if you throw above 10. V'hai dekatani Rishus Harabim Atzma, and what does the Brisa mean when it says the language of Rishus Harabim Atzma? Lo diacha kochan de Rabbanan. It's actually to tell you the strength of the Rabbanan, that the Rabbanan say you're not chayiv even below 10. According to Rabbi Lazar, it's a machlokes in the extremes. According to Rabbi Akiva, when you throw it from Rishus Hayachid to Rishus Hayachid, through Rishus Harabim, you're always chayiv. Whether it goes above 10 or below 10 doesn't matter. And according to the Chachamim, you're always pater. That's how Rabbi Lazar learns. And then the Gemara says, one more opinion, Upliga de Rav Chilkiah bar Tuvi. Rabbi Lazar also argues with Rav Chilkiah bar Tuvi. The Amar Rav Chilkiah bar Tuvi, Rav Chilkiah bar Tuvi says, Toch Shlosha, if something passes within 3 from the ground, Divrei HaKol Chayiv, you're certainly Chayiv, that's as if it came to rest. Lamala me'asar, if it's above 10, Divrei HaKol Potter, everybody agrees Potter. Migimel v'yad yud, Bonan l'machlokas, Rabbi Akiva v'Rabbanan. It's only from 3 tvachim to 10 tvachim that Rabbi Akiva and the Rabbanan disagree, and they're arguing about the principle of Kluta Kamishon Chadamya. Rashi just says that when the Gemara goes to Rav Chilkiah, Upliga de Rav Chilkiah had Rabbi Lazar. I already pointed this out as I read it. Rav Chilkiah is only arguing on Rabbi Lazar. That's the point. It's not saying Rav Chilkiah is a third opinion. Rav Chilkiah is just reasserting the opinion that was stated right before Rabbi Lazar came along. The Gemara now says, Tanya Nami Hach, we have a brisa like this as well, meaning we have a brisa like Rav Chilkiah bar Tuvi. It says, Besoch Gimel Divrei HaKol Chayiv, within 3 from the ground, everybody agrees Chayiv. Lamala miyoreinu ela misham shavus. If you throw above 10 tvachim from the ground, it's only a derabanan. V'im hayu reshuyos shalom mutter. But if both private properties belong to one person, belong to him, then it's actually mutter. Now, what Rashi explains over here is the Isser derabanan there's an Isser derabanan, you can't transfer from one Rishus Hayachid to a different Rishus Hayachid. So when it says that lamala miyud, it's a shvus, what that means is forget about the Rishus Harabim, even ignoring the Rishus Harabim, but the fact that you went from one Rishus Hayachid to the other is an Isser D'Rabbanan, that's the Shvus. And that's why it says, Vim hayu reshuyos shalom mutter. If both properties are owned by him, we don't care about the Rishus Harabim because it's traveling above 10 tvachim from the earth, and both properties are his, so you don't have the prohibition, the Isser D'Rabbanan, of transferring from one private property to a different private property. These all belong to the same person. Migimel v'yad asar, but from 3 tvachim until 10 tvachim, Rabbi Akiva mechayev, Chachamim potter, Rabbi Akiva says chayev, and the Chachamim say potter, exactly like Rav Chilkiah bar Tuvi said. Amar Mar, the master said him, Hayu Reshuyos Shalom Mutter. It says if he owns both properties, then it's Mutter. Le Matiave to Yuvte de Rav. This would seem to refute something that Rav said to Itmar, because it was learned, Shnei Batim B'Shnei Tzidei Rishus Harabim. You have 2 houses on 2 sides of Rishus Harabim. Rabba bar Rav Huna Amar Rav. Rabba bar Rav Huna says in the name of Rav, Asr Lizrok Mizel Lozeh. It is Asr to throw from one private property to the other. Ushmuel Amar Mutter Lizrok Mizel Lozeh. And Shmuel says it's Mutter to throw from one private property to the other. So now the issue is like here. The Gemara now says, taking a look at Rashi for a moment, Asr Lizrok Mizel Lozeh Va'afilu Hein Shalo. The Rashi says he must mean that even if he owns both properties, it's Asr. De'imi Shalo l'shel Chaveiro, because if he's throwing from his property to his friends, Lo Haveshari Shmuel, Shmuel would have never said Mutter. In other words, it says over here, Shmuel Amar Mutter Lizrok Mizel Lozeh. Shmuel says it's Mutter. It must be that he owns both properties, that the property is owned by the same person, because everybody should agree it's Asr in such a case, if it's owned by different people. So we're talking about when one person owns both properties, and yet Rav says Asr Lizrok Mizel Lozeh, implying there's an Isser D'Rabbanan to throw from one private property to the other private property, even if the same person owns it. So that's why the Gemara thinks that Rav, it seems to be refuted by this brisa which says Im hayu reshuya shalom mutter. So the Gemara answers for Rav, V'lav mi ukimna lahi kegon demidli chad umitzi chad. That brisa was talking about a very particular case where one Rishus Hayachid was elevated and the other was lower. So you weren't throwing straight from one Rishus Hayachid to another. You had to aim and you had to be able to throw either up or down. So the issue was, what if you miss and it ends up falling to the Rosh Hashanah, and then you might come to carry? And the real reason Rav says it's Asr has nothing to do with transferring from one private property to the other, because that's not an issue, because it's all owned by the same person. The issue, according to Rav, was a different issue, an issue that you might end up missing your target. It's going to fall to Rosh Hashanah, and then you might end up carrying when you pick it up from Rosh Hashanah. Amar Rav Chisda Rav Hamnuna. Rav Chisda said to Rav Hamnuna, the Amri Lo Rav Hamnuna Rav Chisda, and some people say it was Rav Hamnuna that said to Rav Chisda, Minoha Milsa Damar Rabbanon Kol Pachos Migimel Kol Avidami. Where do we learn this idea that less than 3 tvachim is considered lavud, is considered attached? Just like we said over here, that if it's within 3 tvachim from the earth, it's as if it already landed on the earth. Amar Lei said to him, Lafi She'i Efshar Lo Rosh Hashanah Shetilakit B'Malakit Uverhitni, because no Rosh Hashanah is going to be completely straight, as if it was straightened out by a carpenter's plane. It's impossible. There's always going to be bumps, bushes, thistles, different things, and therefore it's a span of within 3 tvachim of the earth is considered as if it landed on the ground already. So the Gemara says, if so, gimel nami. First of all, even 3 tvachim, it's not going to be that straight. 3 tvachim is not so large. Why is it within 3? And further, when it talks about building a sukkah, it says, let's say you build the walls from the top down. If the bottom of the wall is 3 tvachim or more up from the earth, it's a problem. But as long as the bottom of the wall is within 3 tvachim of the earth, it's as if it came all the way down to the ground, and it's a kosher wall for a sukkah. So where do you learn that from? That has nothing to do with the issue of Rosh Hashanah being flat or not being flat. There's nothing to do with Rosh Hashanah. Here you're building a sukkah. So the Gemara says, so the Gemara says, you're right, that's a different reason. That's because any wall that's 3 tvachim or more, that has 3 tvachim or more space from the bottom of the wall to the earth, since goats can just walk right through, that's not considered a wall. So that's a different svara. We use goats as our measure to determine whether a wall is a solid wall or not. If the gedim can be broken, but that's not considered a solid wall. So the Gemara says, 1 second, Tenach lamata, that makes sense for a wall that starts at the top, comes down, and doesn't get all the way to the ground. But lamala ma'ikal lamemar, what are you going to say about a wall that's within 3 tvachim of the schach, the ceiling area of the sukkah? There also we apply lavud, and you don't have any goats floating through the space between the schach and the upper part of the wall. So rather the Gemara throws out what we said before. We're not learning out this idea of lavud because Rosh Hashanah can't be flat. Instead, and we're not learning it out either from the idea of the goats being broken. But the real source for lavud is Hilchas HaGemirila, it's Halacha L'Moshe Misinai. That's how we know the concept of lavud. Tanur Rabbanan, we learned in a Brayso, Rosh Hashanah, Rosh Hashanah be'emtza. What about the reverse case from our Mishnah? You throw from one Rosh Hashanah to another Rosh Hashanah, and there's a Rosh Hashanah, there's a private property in the middle. Rebbe mechayev v'chachamim poter. Rebbe says chayev in such a case, and the chachamim say poter. Very similar to the machlokas we had in the Mishnah, where Rabbi Akiva says chayev, and the chachamim say poter. So Rav Shmuel Da'amri Tarvayim. Now Rav and Shmuel both say lo chayev Rebbe ela b'Rosh Hashanah makora. That Rebbe only says chayev if there's a roof in this Rosh Hashanah. A Rosh Hashanah technically does not have to have a roof, but we're talking here about a Rosh Hashanah that has a roof. The Amrina, because we say a principle Beisa command Demal Yadami, that the house is as if it's totally filled up, and it's as if it came to rest within the house. So it's really as if you threw from Rosh Hashanah to Rosh Hashanah and it came to rest, and then again it goes from Rosh Hashanah to Rosh Hashanah. Avol she'ena makora lo, but if there's no roof, then you wouldn't be chayiv. Amar Rav Chana, Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Shmuel, Rav Chana, in the name of Rav Yehuda says in the name of Shmuel, Mechayev hoya Rebbe Shtayim, that Rebbe is actually Mechayev you twice in this case. Achas mishum hotzah, first of all you're doing hotzah, the achas mishum achnasa, and you're also doing achnasa, because you think about it, if it's going from Rosh Hashanah to Rosh Hashanah, that's achnasa, then it goes from Rosh Hashanah to the other Rosh Hashanah, that's hotzah, you're chayev too. So Yosef Rav Chana v'kakashli. On this, Rav Chana was sitting and he was bothered. He had a difficulty with this issue. We'll see his difficulty in the next video on Daf Tzadi Zayin Amud Beis.